So as I'm sure you're well aware, we recently just got a brand new deck build box for Dragunity and Heratics, and I've been getting a lot of messages on Discord asking me, well, where's the videos? When are they going to come out? And unfortunately, I'm just not going to be making any. The reason for that is, Konami decided to release an absolutely hot, steaming pile of doo-doo. This box is atrocious. Let me explain. And yes, this is going to be a rant video, so I'm going to be doing quite a lot of yapping. Alright, so first and foremost, when we saw the leaks for the two new skills before they were released, we all sort of predicted some combos and stuff and infields and stuff we can set up using cards that we expected to be getting. One of those cards, which we basically guaranteed we were going to be getting in our minds, we thought like there is no chance we're not going to be getting it, because without it, I mean, why would you even release the deck without it? Is Heratics Seals of Heavenly Seers. A lot of people will probably recognize this card. It's a very, very popular dragon card in both TCG, OCG, Master, all that kind of stuff. It's a great card, and don't get me wrong, it's a very strong card, but it's not something that's just like, well, we can't add this to the game. It will just break the game entirely or something. It's just nothing like that. This card is completely fine. It's like a bounce that gives you a search. It's like, okay, why didn't we get this? It's literally a Heradic card. Because we didn't get this, the end fields you're making are just so mid. They just don't do anything. And we'll talk more about that in just a moment. But another card we didn't get, which we also expected was pretty likely, was Remus. Why we didn't get this, I don't know, considering the skill we got, the skill for the Dragunity deck, doesn't search the field spell. And without the field spell, the deck doesn't really do a whole lot. You can still set up fields without the field spell, but then just much weaker, and a lot of the time they take even more cards to even set up anything. It's like a multiple 3-card combos or 2-card combos to just end on a monster plus a trap card. It's like, why? Why have we only got access to 3 copies of the field spell plus terraforming, which in a 22-card deck, because by the way, the skill adds 2 cards to your deck, gives you a 58% chance to open the field spell going first, and without it, the deck doesn't function. The only actual reason I could possibly see for not being given either of these 2 cards is simply because they wanted to be greedy and they stuffed them into the New Year's box. That's my only guess. If we don't get these cards in the New Year's box, I mean, and they didn't add them here, I just don't know what the point was whatsoever. Both these cards are probably going to be in that box, and that'll make the whole deck build box a hell of a lot better. But without them, I wouldn't even touch it with a 10-foot pole. It is horrendous. Alright, even more shit to talk about. So something that's been a bit weird with Konami's skill design lately is, obviously, they've been releasing skills like Predaplant, which they obviously really wanted to be a meta deck, because they just literally just add 15 cards to your hand whenever the game begins. Just fill up your hand with as many cards as you like, with no shuffle backs, no discards, no nothing. Just add 2 cards to your hand, or add 3 cards, whatever bullshit the skill does. Then we have decks like Ghost Trick, which literally does it every single turn, just keeps generating advantage over and over and over again. No shuffles back or anything like that, just keeps generating advantage. Like even Fleur, at least Fleur has like a shuffle back, but even then, that deck just prints advantage for you. These skills, both of them, they don't print advantage, they're just shuffling cards back, which in a perfect world, I like skills when they shuffle back rather than being just printing card advantage, because they're a lot more fair and a lot more balanced feeling. But if they're going to do that, you can't just do this for the skills. They're not give us their 2 core pieces that make the deck consistent. Not giving us seals and not giving us the field spell searcher for Dragunity just feels like, wow, you just shot us in the foot. It's the fact we didn't get seals as at least part of this skill is so odd, considering the Dragunity one got their link as part of their skill. Why didn't Heradic get seals? It's literally a Heradic card. I don't know, it completely blows my mind we didn't get them. Alright, I have a couple of notes here that I'm making sure I'm covering everything. Oh yeah, the actual end fields themselves. So the end fields themselves, for you guys that don't know, typically for Dragunity, you're ending on a copy of your, however you pronounce this card's name, which is a negate for monsters, and you're ending on a copy of your counter trap, which is a negate for spell and trap cards. And then if you open the field spell, you can typically extend a little bit further to end on like a Stardust Dragon or something. A Stardust Dragon is your final end field card. So your best field for this is a Monster Negate, a Spell Trap Negate, and a card that sometimes negates destruction effects. I mean, it's an end field, but it requires your entire hand to do so. And I mean your entire hand. This deck has so many discards, you delete your hand. It's gone instantly. So that's all you get. You get no follow-up for future turns, and you get just a Monster Negate and a Spell Trap card negate. Which, by the way, if your opponent has a Kaiju, I can't think of any deck that could possibly be doing that, you lose your monster and your Spell and Trap card negates turned off. That's it. So if you play against any deck that can play through multiple disruption, any deck that wants to do any sort of grind game, you have no chance in a grind game. You literally, your entire deck is one turn, pray to God it works. You're just screwed. The only sort of upside is the spell card, which honestly, this spell card, you could probably tech it into other dragon decks and it'd be pretty good. It's a spell card you can activate to just summon a tuner and a non-tuner from your deck, and then instantly make a Black Rose Dragon, which is really sick. So maybe you see this card in other dragon decks, and it might actually be a really good fit for them, but I just don't recommend playing in Heratics, because the Heratics deck itself just ends on not a whole lot. It's like, picture Cyber Dragon, right, which ends on 2 monster negates and your trap card that nukes the field. That doesn't need your whole hand to do that. It literally doesn't. You still can play techs in that deck. Or at least just play more like follow-up pieces, especially considering the Cyber Dragon stuff when in the graveyard has follow-up, just literally summons stuff for you. I just don't understand why you'd ever play this when something like Cyber Dragon exists, which does the exact same thing, except just ends on more stuff, has more cards in hand, allows you to play tech cards, and it's just has follow-up. It's just infinitely better. There's no way to do that. And keep in mind, Cyber Dragon isn't even a meta deck list. That's just a deck that is good. I just don't know why Heratics or Dragunity wasn't given the same sort of treatment. Then we have your Heratics. Heratics is even worse state. This is like... the difference between Heratics and your Dragunity is, well, Dragunity at least has this spell card to go second. This has nothing. Like, literally nothing. You're going second is terrible. You literally do nothing. Going first, all your combos are like 2 to 3 card combos, and your end field is this thing. A card that protects things from being targeted and negates when you do so. Okay. That's it. We're ending on a monster that just says no target. That's all we got. No, like, the amount of cards we've got in this game that have targeting protection now is pretty extreme. And I mean, like, you can just summon a Cocytus that has targeting protection. At least that card's immune to destruction effects as well. I just don't see the point of this thing. It does literally nothing. It defends your back row from MSTs and Cosmics, and considering all your disruption is your back row, I mean, that's something, I guess. If you're lucky enough, you can end on both the trap cards, one which is a limit 1 counter trap that negates something, and the other is a banish, and they both tribute a card to do so. But that's it. That's what you're praying for. You're praying for 2 trap cards that, well, are okay going first, going second do absolutely nothing, and if your opponent does have a way to just get the force the Heratics to be flipped face down, or has like an Eclipse or something, that already forces out the counter trap, and then you're left with one lot of disruption to try to deal with your opponent's entire turn. It's like, I don't know, man. The amount of people I've seen on Discord saying like, oh, I just went on my 10 loss streak with this deck. I just went 1-6 with this deck. Me personally, I tried a shit ton of Dragunity, and I could not win many games whatsoever. I was losing to Dark Magician. My opponent would activate something like an Eclipse, activate Circle, normal summon Dark Magician, and my field's cracked, it's gone. I just lost to a Circle and a normal monster. Like, it's embarrassing. The fact they didn't release the 2 cards for these 2 decks that would have made them infinitely better is just embarrassing. I assume they're going to be in the New Year's box. If they're not, well then, yeah, I don't actually see much point going into this box ever whatsoever, so yeah, that's my rant on it. Let me know your thoughts down below. Luckily, there is some leaks later today, which I might do a stream for, which look very exciting for things like Tri-Brigade and stuff, so hopefully, save your gems, use them on the New Year's box, don't touch this thing whatsoever, and pray to God if you did touch it, that the New Year's box, or sometime down the line, we actually get the proper cards for this deck that make them functional, so yeah, that's going to do it. Also, just one last thing, this card is actually really good, so hopefully, if you are going to this box, at least you get Red Eyes, Darkness, Metal Dragon, which is also a really good card for other archetypes, so Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you see you next one. Rant over.